Well, I've been doing this actually over 20 years. I've actually been in athletes now 21 years. Long and short of it was this profession to me is almost like a service industry where you take care of people. This is something where you don't go into this profession thinking that it's glamorous and all that. It's really about helping the person, whether it be an athlete or there's many other settings, military, industry, that kind of thing. But it overall, down and dirty of it is it's a service industry where you're helping people, whether it's through an injury or through mental rehab, through that could be both at the same time if you're having a hard time getting through this injury. Regardless, that gives us the satisfaction, that's why we do it, of helping them.
I became an athletic trainer, kind of why a lot of athletic trainers become athletic trainers. I had an injury in high school, and it was my first time I ever saw an athletic trainer work. And I thought at the time I wasn't going to get back, like I wasn't going to be able to swim anymore because I was a swimmer for 12 years. And through that process, it kind of opened my eyes. I knew I wanted to be in a medical field, but I love sports, and this was a way to kind of meld the two of them together. And to me, being an athletic trainer is kind of everything. It kind of takes over your life in a good way. It's challenging, and then from one moment you're just so frustrated because you want the athletes to do so well, and you're trying to do everything you can. And then the turnaround of the complete joy of seeing them get back on the field and reaching like the potential that like you knew they had that maybe they didn't know they had. So we're working both in the physical, like getting their injuries healed, but also like mentally helping to push those athletes.
Personally, for me, it affected me a lot because I felt like we had a great season and we were doing really great, and we had really hit a spark, and it kind of, the season ending after our first win in the tournament kind of left so many unknowns about what we could do. And I felt really bad for the players as well because they had worked so hard all season, and to have that season cut from them was a big deal, I think. For a routine standpoint, it's really changed what we've been doing because we haven't been able to come to school as much. So it's really taken away from the athletic training days, I would say, of having to be here for practices every single day and being able to do treatments every single day. It's really given us a point to where we can just focus on our schoolwork that we haven't had time to really do.
You've been able to stay in contact with the athletes, though.
Yes, we've been able to stay in contact with the athletes, and we do talk to them every single day and want to make sure they're still in good health.
You think about the broad level of what it takes to run an athletic department, for an athletic department to function on a daily basis. There are so many important parts to making that happen. And to use a phrase, our athletic training staff, they really are the lifeline of what we do every day. I know our coaches and our student athletes rely so much on them.
I definitely recommend, especially to our athletes and just everyone in general, we're getting out and getting active. Obviously not in a large group, but that doesn't mean you can get out, walk a dog if you have a dog, or just get into your neighborhood, go explore a little bit. Also trying to keep up with the routine. Like we have our new strength coach, Coach Schwager. He has been posting videos, which our athletes can all see on his Twitter. So that'd be a good way to start. Not only just keep your mind sharp, but keep you somewhat ready to get back on the field whenever that is.
Mental health in the last few years has really emerged as a very high level front burner topic on college campuses and specifically within athletic departments. And we, I guess a few years ago, might have been the first, if not the first, one of the very first in our conference to develop a policy on mental health. It's online. Our student athletes know where to access it. It's in their handbook. Colleen Brown, who is our assistant athletic trainer, chairs a committee. And right now, and I've said this publicly, I've said it in statements, but the mental health of our student athletes right now is of uppermost concern. And you can think about the seniors who had their senior spring sports season taken away. And yes, some of them will get a chance to come back next year, but for others, that's just not an option.
I guess the last time I remember something like this would have been for one of the hurricanes. I can't remember exactly which one, but pretty much it just you see it coming out a few days in advance, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well now we're stopped. But it usually only lasts a few days. This is different, and it is disturbing. It can be disturbing to people. But spring football is kind of like fall football, where it's a set week. You almost have like a game week because Saturdays are scrimmages. So it's almost 4 weeks of game weeks. So to get stopped in the middle of it, it's like ending a season. So for us, it's very similar to the others. We're they're in the middle of a season, so it's definitely nerve-wracking at times, and you want to just finish because it's there. You should be finishing, but it's one of those things where we just got to keep moving and keep doing what we need to do.
The thing about graduate assistants when they come here is from the moment they walk through the door of our field house or the Coliseum to the moment that they walk across the stage and get their master's degree, they grow so much professionally because they have an opportunity, and that's kind of a way of life at the level of Division I that we are, as opposed to maybe a Power 5 where they're going to have a great number of full-time athletic trainers. So when graduate assistants come in here, I guess the good news is they get a great opportunity to develop their trade and their abilities. I mean, we have graduate assistants for the most part. Hannah Morales, I mean, she is the athletic trainer for the track and field team. Now, she has guidance from her full-time staff, but she's out there every day. Christina Overholt is out there every day with soccer, and you can continue to just say that about several of our other graduate assistants as well. Nothing like learning on the job, nothing like having to do it yourself.